is headed in the future. So I'll play that ABC investigative report. I'll introduce you to Dr. Melody Rodarte, and then I'll wrap it up at the tail end of this. So let me share my screen and get that video going for you.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Dr. McCord, okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist.
This is pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
Can you scoop? Yeah, there we go.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body.
Leading to disease.
Leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes.
Depression?
Alzheimer's disease, depression.
Dr. James Crapo with the National Jewish Medical Center in Denver is also researching Protandim for the company. But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would. I can't guarantee it's going to extend your life. I can't guarantee it's going to eliminate any diseases or cure any diseases.
But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. And I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. But because it's being sold as a nutritional supplement and not a drug, Protandim does not need FDA approval for safety.
It's the little yellow pill that scientists say could eliminate chronic diseases and help you live well into your hundreds. Quinones has been taking Protandim for 2 weeks now and tells Extra,
I am sleeping better. I feel a lot better and also energized when I do wake up.
You know, as a patient advocate, I stumbled upon Protandim almost 3 years ago. Someone introduced me to Protandim. I just looked at the research and figured out, hey, wait a minute, I have to take 360 oranges in one day to get the same effect of one pill? So,
antioxidants, okay? These are still good, right?
Oh, not only are they good, but we've breathed a whole new life into this topic. We now know that you can actually boost your own body's defenses without even just taking vitamin C by eating lots of colorful fruits and vegetables. But there's also a new supplement on the market called Protandim that is made from an extract of herbs that actually upregulates and boosts your natural manufacturing of antioxidant enzymes. So this is going to reduce those harmful free radicals, reduce some of that cell damage associated with disease, and this is a double thumbs up.
How do you find the energy to keep doing it night after night? We get a lot of comments. So people have been emailing me and saying they love how you look, like you're ageless. It's incredible. So
I have a secret.
What is your secret?
I have a secret formula, and it's a company called LifeVantage. They came up with a product called Protandim. Now, what causes the aging process is free radicals in our body, oxidative stress. This Protandim stuff, I've been taking it for 2 years.
We have it on the table right there.
Clinically proven to slow the aging process down. It reduces the oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So I tested it, and it works. And the nice thing, it's not pharmaceutical. It's real food.
I'm going to have to give it a try.
All right. I love that video, and over the course of the last couple of years, I've probably seen it thousands of times, but it just, every time I see it, it goes back to what we have our hands on is truly unbelievable. And now I want to introduce you to a great friend of ours, Dr. Melody Rodarte. Her and her family, we've been fortunate enough to be able to travel the world with them and share this information. She was actually voted one of the top obesity medicine doctors, you guys, in 2017. Board certified in internal medicine, obesity medicine. She's also certified in hyperbaric medicine, wound care, and aesthetics. She has 2 kids that she's absolutely in love with, twins. They're now 16. A husband who's retired from law enforcement as a detective. They love to travel the world, be with family and friends, and they're super passionate for preventative medicine and doing medical missions throughout the world. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Melody Rodarte.
Thank you for that kind welcome. Let me go ahead and see if I can share my screen. I absolutely love that I can do this webinar with you again. It's been too long for sharing a webinar together. And so just thank you so much for always being there for our family, and you and Michelle are awesome. I love my LifeVantage family, you guys, and hopefully what you're going to take from this today is we are a family, and what we like to do is helping each other with their health. You can kind of see a picture of my family here. We're out of Arizona, and my passion is also with my children, keeping them healthy, because I know what's in our family, and unfortunately we've gotten to see some things early in their childhood that I've been always seeking. How can I help slow down the aging process, not only for me, but how can I slow down the aging process for my children? So as I started my practice, that was something that was important to me. That's why I chose to become a DO, or a doctor of osteopathic medicine, is I wanted to learn how to incorporate Eastern and Western medicine and use my hands. As you can see, I'm already flapping my hands around too. I talk with my hands. But right before kindergarten, my son actually developed an autoimmune disease called alopecia totalis. And I was feeling like, one, a mom who wasn't sure exactly what to do, and two, a doctor who's a mom, where her son is saying, why can't you fix this all? Why is this happening to me? And so I'm very thankful that someone wanted me to see that ABC Primetime Investigative Report, because I was looking for something that I could do next. We were done with steroids. We were done with, we were doing them topically, injecting them into his scalp. We were doing acid to trick his immune system. So I was really wanting to know what else is there. And I've always done that with my patients too, to go, what else is there? And so tonight, that is something that I want you to take away from this, is see, is this something that you want to incorporate into your life? For the next, my part, kind of 20 minutes, think about the pathways that I'm talking about and think, can I incorporate these? Do I want to incorporate these? Do I want to slow down the aging process? And so, like I do in my practice, I always love education. I think that when you're educated, you can make a great decision for yourself and for your health. And so the first word is biohacking. You might not have heard this term yet, and it's taking a complex system like our body and breaking it down in order to get a desired outcome, good health, right? And what we're trying to do it with is nutrigenomics, another word that you might not have heard of yet. And it's using nutrition to help gene expression. So if you go all the way back to Hippocrates, he actually got it right so many years ago. We are what we eat. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. And so it is incredibly important these days to know what your nutrition is doing, because it can actually affect your health. And the personalized health market is becoming incredibly big, and I know it's because of how our healthcare system is. If you do not have a great relationship with your physician, I'm going to tell you right now, please find somebody that you can talk to, that it is a two-way communication. It's not just, I'm telling you to do this and that's it. And someone who wants to look up things with you as well and have a team approach. You guys, I myself see an acupuncturist. I see a chiropractor. I'm learning how to do more meditation. I love that we have a neuroscientist that's joined us, and I actually was reading the book. He started doing all the research on the background research, and getting to meet him, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the one that did the research for this book. So have a great team to take care of you. And so here's another great kind of slide, because this is the important part of what you're learning tonight. Do you want your body to be hijacked by what's happening in the environment around you that you might not have control over? Or do you want to biohack your body in order to live your best self? Things that can hijack our bodies are physical stressors, emotional stressors, biochemical items, toxins, whether it's in the food, the air, the water, EMFs, and allergies. I can't even tell you, when I was young, I didn't even know what peanut allergies were. And what we're doing to our food is creating a lot of allergies and intolerances. And so I'd rather biohack my body. I want to take control of it. I want to slow down that aging process. I want my optimal genetic expression. And we know that we can do this through nutrigenomics. So you might have heard Dr. McCord in that ABC Primetime kind of talking about some of the things that can happen with free radical damage and oxidative stress. So let me break it down just into layman's terms again. Oxidative stress is that natural wear and tear that's happening inside of our bodies, whether it's, we use microwaves, whether we live, like for me here in Arizona, where there's a lot of, sunlight, or you're up north where you might have not as much sunlight, you use gas, pollution, all of those are causing us to age, and it's that browning from the inside out. Well, if we want to take it down to the cellular level with what's happening, it's affecting that cell, and the cell makes up a tissue, the tissue makes up an organ, and the organ makes up our body. And depending on how your genes are expressed, it might look like high blood pressure, it might look like heart disease, it might look like kidney disease, it might look like diabetes, or arthritis. And for me, what really stuck out when I was thinking about this is those autoimmune disorders. Oxidative stress is really that at that forefront of autoimmune disorders. And once you have one autoimmune disorder, you're more likely to trigger others. The body is just not protecting itself. And so we know the root cause of over 200 diseases is oxidative stress. So how can we reduce oxidative stress? Well, you got to hear one part already with Protandim NRF2. And the neat part is after that ABC primetime aired, you know, there was a buzz. For me, I thought, oh my gosh, what if? And that's what was happening. $5 million of orders came in. And unfortunately, they were a small little biotech company. They didn't have people to answer the phones. They didn't have a system to get the product out. And Sean will go over a little bit more of how that business started up later on. But the neat part that you need to know is universities and institutions started to fund their own research. They called the company and they said, can we use Protandim in our studies? And this is a list of some of those major universities. They're not, you know, I went to ASU, I'm super proud I went there, but I would love to hear from Harvard and Johns Hopkins and other major universities. And what struck a chord with me initially when I was looking at Protandim is the Journal of Circulation is put on by the American Heart Association. It is an incredibly incredible journal. It's incredibly hard to get published into. And so I went to a website called PubMed. And for those of you who don't know about PubMed, it's where we go to do our medical research. It's where peer-reviewed articles are in a library that we can do. You don't have to be a physician. Sometimes you want to be a physician reading through these. But when I, 4 years ago, typed in Protandim, there were 16 peer-reviewed articles there. Tonight, if you do it, there are 24 peer-reviewed articles, and there are 3 more if you do an extended search that you can read through. And that just blew my mind that there was actually peer-reviewed articles for me to research. And on the right-hand side, you're going to see some pharmaceutical companies, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too, but they are in the rat race for making competitive NRF2 activators. So again, I will touch on that in a little bit. And so the difference here on what you're learning tonight is whether you want to supplement or activate. Supplementation has been great up till now. We want you to eat your green leafy vegetables and your pretty fruits. There are antioxidants in them. They are healthy. As Sean said, I do obesity medicine. My whole thing is trying to get people to eat better nutrition. But when that happens, you're only neutralizing one free radical at a time. It's one and it's done. When you activate the pathway called NRF2, you are releasing your body's own antioxidants at a rate of 1,000,000 to 1. And that's why it's called activation, and it's not just supplementation. Your body is releasing these beautiful antioxidants called catalase and glutathione and SOD, which stands for superoxide dismutase. You can see that on the bottom of the screen. These are much better than anything that you can ingest or do an IV form of. And so let's just kind of really talk about the nitty-gritty here of Protandim NRF2. It's a combination of 5 herbal ingredients: ashwagandha, bacopa, milk thistle, green tea, turmeric. And this is the only supplement proven in a clinical study to reduce oxidative stress in humans by an average of 40% in 30 days and up to 70% with continued use. That is amazing that we have that study so that we can make that, that claim, and the FDA allows us to do that. And then the NIA, which is the National Institute on Aging, they funded a lifespan, meaning a life extension study. It was at least 10 years for the first part. And Protandim was the only natural product proven to extend lifespan by 7%, which is about 5 years. And really, I want you to hone in on something. Lifespan is good health, okay? Disease span is just keeping you alive with a certain disease. My goal is to be running around with my grandkids and my great-grandkids. That's lifespan, having health and extending life. That's really important to know that. And ingredients that are in Protandim were studied alone. They did not extend lifespan. So it was the combination that was key. And it's because NRF2 is helping our body with our survival genes. That expression is really important. On the bottom, you're seeing a couple seals of approval. It's just saying what's in the bottle is what you are ingesting. For me as a practitioner, that was important. Not only one, giving it to my family, but two, then wanting to recommend it. That BSCG is banned substance control group, and so elite athletes can use this and not worry about doping. So you might be thinking to yourself, does it matter if I'm taking these already? And I'm going to say yes. It is important that you look at this as taking it as a whole pill, a salad in a pill. Taking them by themselves, they're still NRF2 activators, but you can see in that graph, they're very weak NRF2 activators. When you take it as Protandim, you are getting an 18-fold increase. That's 1,800% more effectiveness. And so I don't know about you guys, I'd rather take one pill than 5 pills to get an even better result here. And so this is where we're at. This is what Washington State University is saying. NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. There are 2 key words here: therapy and prevention. This pathway is just incredible. If you look up NRF2, it is, and there are an exponential amount of research that is being published right now. It is so incredible. And so I'm excited that you're hearing about it tonight and that you'll know how to activate your NRF2 pathway, and you'll know how to do it in the best way possible right now. And so as that previous slide I was telling you about with pharmaceutical companies coming out, there are 2 drugs on the market. The first one is called Tecfidera, and it was also BG12. You can see there on the slide. And they asked if they could go head-to-head with Protandim. And this is what they wrote in their conclusion. Interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer, and therefore may be this most suited as a therapeutic strategy. You guys, it's incredible they published this, because if I was part of that pharmaceutical company, I wouldn't want to publish this just because I would want my newest drug to be better than an herbal supplement, an activator. And so I'm very grateful that it is there for us to share. The second drug on the market is for ALS. So you might know that as Lou Gehrig's disease. That medication is $150,000 a year. Tecfidera is about $50,000 a year. And these, when you're doing it synthetically, I'm going to let you know there are side effects, there are problems, and that's why there are so many drugs that are in phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 trials. They're having trouble getting them to the market because of the problems with doing it synthetically. So let's just move on for a little bit. Put that NRF2 on the back panel, and I'll bring it back up in a little bit. But what I want to also tell you about is we are at the forefront of helping our mitochondria. And so there's another pathway called the NRF1 pathway, and it is for our mitochondria. We need our mitochondria not only for energy, but to protect our gene. A cell needs to know whether or not it needs to die or repair, and that is the function of the mitochondria. And so we used to just think it was neurologic issues, but now we know it's so much more. About 3 years ago now, I was having to recertify my internal medicine. And it was just incredible that they're talking about cancer being a mitochondrial dysfunction first, not a genetic mutation first. So you guys, you have to protect your mitochondria. It's incredibly important. And so our Protandim NRF1 Synergizer is doing just that. It's helping increase cellular ATP or energy. It is helping the production of the cell. It is helping the function of the cell. Our mitochondria have a network from head to toe. We need them to be communicating with each other. And we need to slow down that cellular aging by supporting chromosomal integrity. So that's what we can do with our NRF1. Also, our gut, incredibly important. I know some of you guys have heard me talk about probiotics. Ours is just exceptional because of a few items. One is the BioTrek technology. Over 60% make it through the stomach acid and make it to the small and large intestine, where we need those probiotics to digest our food, to synthesize our vitamins, to help metabolism. 80% of our immune system is in our gut, so we need them to make it down there. And then we also need it for neurotransmitters, for happy, if you've ever heard of happy gut, happy brain, our gut has been known as our second brain. We also have Wellmune in there, very well studied, 12 PubMed articles on Wellmune, and it's supporting the tight junctions of our gut, helping our white blood cells. So these two factors, the BioTrek technology and the Wellmune, just make ours just head and shoulders above the rest. Even prescription ones that I've written for, that is just incredible. And so a leaky gut is what you might have been hearing about, where it's you know, a foggy brain, or as well as ADHD and depression, sinus issues. I don't know about you guys, but ask people when they start taking out certain things or when they go on a probiotic, they might not have to take their allergy medication anymore. It's just incredible, as well as joint pain, adrenal pain, you know, colon issues, thyroid, our thyroid, whether or not you take thyroid medication, T4 is converted to T3 in the gut. So we need a healthy gut. And of course, our skin. So important. The other important item is omega-3s. Omega-3s help our cardiovascular, our skin, our immune system. We're learning so much more. And we're learning now about omega-7s. Omega-7s help with our metabolism. So what we've done with LifeVantage is we have taken omega-3, omega-7, and vitamin D and put it into our Omega Plus. The beautiful part about this is you don't have to put it in the freezer because you're worried that you're going to burp up fish oil. It is has no time to become rancid because it is harvested in cold water, either Alaska or Norwegian waters, and there is no time for it to become oxidized, and you can trace it back to the boat where it was harvested. It's sustainable, so incredible. And so you might think, I don't know if I need it. I'm going to tell you, omega-3s, start doing your research. You'll be impressed, and it's because unfortunately our diet is full of omega-6s, and so we need that balance in order for our bodies to function adequately. So we have brilliantly put them together as what's called a vitality stack, and you can order it in bottles or in packets. Packets have been a game changer in my household. Let me just tell you, because I can just hand a whole packet instead of having to count the pills for my kids. But we won a Stevie Bronze winner just this past year, and it hadn't even been out as a vitality stack for a year. It's an international award. It's incredible. We are extremely proud of this award. So I'm going to have you take that NRF2 that I told you to put on the back burner, and we're going to bring it up front just to talk about a few other items. So Louisiana State University, if you go back to that PubMed, did 3 journal articles, and it's incredible because it was showing just results with not allowing the P53 gene mutation to happen for melanoma. The cancer cells were not growing like they were supposed to, and so they said NRF2 needs to be developed where you're putting it on the outside to affect those skin cells. So it's helping from the outside in. And it's formulated for every skin type. That's what I love about this is there's a cleanser, a perfecting lotion that doesn't have any alcohol. So it looks like a toner because it's liquid but no alcohol, an eye serum, and an anti-aging cream. Just incredible. Dr. Natalie Chevreau is world-renowned, was brought over to start developing this, and she is brilliant. She is the mastermind behind a lot of items, and I'm actually very blessed to be on the medical advisory board and just continue to learn from her. So that's our true science. And if you look on to see how clean it is, on I'm totally blanking on the app right now, but it scores like a 0 and a 1, which is the best, like no toxins. We have NRF2 activation for our four-legged friend. Who doesn't want our four-legged friends to be, you know, happy? They bring us joy. And it has that NASC seal of approval that vets look for, knowing that it's safe and it's been tested. And what is on the label is actually what our four-legged friends are ingesting. And it's there was a double-blind placebo study done here in Arizona. So I love that for my vet friends to be able to look through and read through. We have NRF2 activation for our hair. So incredible, so incredible. Again, with that app, you're seeing a 1 or a 2. Again, clean, it's just incredible. If you go and you start putting in some of the things you're using, I know I was floored with some of the items I was thinking were clean for my hair, and it's scoring a 9. I was like, okay, that's going in the garbage. But this is the first skincare. So True Science was the first skincare NRF2 activation, and now we have a first hair care system that's NRF2 activated. And so you can see that it's clean, it's mindfully formulated, it's protecting against environmental assaults, and it's improving the shine for fuller and thicker looking hair. So you can see some results there on the right-hand side, just wonderful that we're seeing. I love this too. Our hair is so important, you guys. And I just say that because of what I've been able to see with my son. It's been, 4 years of not needing any steroids. If those of you who want to know more about my story, you can reach out to me, and I can definitely do that with what I've seen in the past 4 years as well. But last but not least is our brain food. I've never done an energy drink in my life. I was always afraid of them. I saw horrible things in the ER with patients using energy drinks. And so I was a little nervous when I heard about this, and I thought, what is this? And it's actually brain food, you guys. That's the biggest difference. NRF2 activation for our brain. It has activated B vitamins that cross the blood-brain barrier, where there's quercetin, DMAE, L-theanine. These are all nutrients that our brain needs in order to function, to quiet it down and allow it to the synapses to just fire correctly instead of into a broad array. And so one is caffeinated, one is not caffeinated, and it's 100 milligrams of caffeine, all natural. And so you're not getting the jitters, you're not getting the crashes. It doesn't have, all these fake sugars in it. It's naturally sweetened with organic stevia. Big difference there, you guys. And so on the right-hand side, you can see a 9-year-old just being able to activate his NRF2 from the inside with Protandim NRF2 and Axio. And within 2 weeks, just being able to sit down and do his homework. That is an absolute gift, not only for the child, but for the parents, for the teachers, and for him for lifelong, And so this is called Axio, and it has the BSCG seal of approval, so athletes can use this pre and post workout. It's been a game changer for us and our household as well. And so I love research and quotes, and so I'm gonna leave you with one quote here by Oregon State University, because it really sums up how incredible NRF2 is. When it finds a problem, NRF2 essentially goes back to the cellular nucleus, rings the alarm bell where it can turn on up to 200 genes that are responsible for cell repair, detoxification of carcinogens, protein and lipid metabolism, antioxidant protection, and other actions. In the report, the scientists called it a longevity assurance factor. I love that this was published before the NIA study. So now we have 2 statements talking about it being a longevity assurance factor.